Skip Bayless is LeBron James' biggest hater.
And I wanted another commercial where LeBron says, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there with a clutch G.
Oh, no.
He was a disaster in the fourth quarter of that game. A disaster.
Okay, we're going to leave it.
I watched it with these two lazy, repaired eyes. Asa 9, Asa 10, and Asa 11.
It's about to be 2 decades now since it all began, and he still, to this day, denies LeBron's greatness.
If I talk any longer about this, I just might drop LeBron out of my top 10. I'm being overly optimistic and overly nice to LeBron to keep him at number 9.
It is pretty impressive if you ask me, because LeBron has proved him wrong time and time again, and he's still trying to deny it. This old man is crazy. He is a real professional hater. But let's take a look back at every time LeBron proved Skip Bayless wrong.
Take me out. It's my turn. You told me it was my turn.
After the 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers suffered yet another disappointing playoff exit. It was a loss in 6 games to the Boston Celtics, where LeBron certainly didn't have one of his best games to end the series. But LeBron was building a narrative around his name that he just couldn't win despite all the talent he had. Swept in the 2007 finals, second round exit in 2008, conference finals loss in 2009, and now another second round loss. This led to one of the most bold set of takes by Skip Bayless that he's ever made.
Grade his performance, or overall grade for LeBron James in Game 6. What is it, Skip?
I'm going to give LeBron a break today because he did have a triple-double, including 19 rebounds. So I'm going to give him a D-. He's Robin more than he's Batman. He's Pippen more than he's Jordan. He can't stand up to the pressure. The higher the expectations, the worse he performs. Right. LeBron James was made for the regular season. He's a regular season dynamo. He's made for our SportsCenter plays of the night because he's always number 1 in the regular season. But come postseason time, he's the most overrated, overhyped superstar in my history in this business.
You heard it. LeBron James is more of a Scottie Pippen than a Michael Jordan. The most overhyped and overrated player ever. He's built for the regular season and can't get it done in the playoffs. That is what Skip had to say after the 2010 playoff exit. But LeBron James was tired of losing, and while being a 2010 free agent, he would make his big decision.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
This little fan took the news of the basketball star leaving to heart.
I ripped up his poster.
Why'd you do that?
Because he left Cleveland in a bad way.
Honestly, I think it was very arrogant, and I think it was a slap in the face to the city.
I feel horrible, disappointed. I can't believe that he would do that to Cleveland. I hope he never wins any championships wherever he's at, because he's a loser. He's not a winner.
I feel like my girlfriend just left me.
LeBron was getting ate up for this move. This was the moment that he became the villain of the NBA and the most hated player. But shit, even with all these new haters, nobody was on the level of Skip. But one of Skip's biggest arguments against LeBron James back then, and even still to this day, is that he is not a killer. He's not clutch. In the biggest moments of the game, he defers and disappears. But after a statement Game 5 where LeBron closed out the Chicago Bulls in the 2011 conference finals, Stephen A started cooking that man Skip Bayless.
The issue here really, anybody that knows basketball understands what LeBron James did last night. But the fact that LeBron James did what he did in the last 2 minutes of a game, when you have spent years crucifying this dude, now you still sit here, the audacity of you, to call him Prince James. But there is nobody on the planet Earth that goes to such extreme measures to nitpick this kid the way that you do. Would you at least acknowledge that?
For a second, it looked like LeBron James was completely flipping the script about his playoff performances in history. But then he had the absolute worst moment of his career in the 2011 NBA Finals, which of course would be Skip's best moment. He still brings it up to this day because it's pretty much all that he has.
This was his turn and his time to live up to being a back-to-back MVP and the most talented player this game has ever seen. And this time, He wasn't even LeBron James. He was Alfred James. This was just pathetic. I mean, come on. I was rooting for Miami, and I wanted another commercial where LeBron says, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there with the clutch gene, because he doesn't have any clutch gene. We saw it. It was the all-time pathetic performance. He scores 2 late points on a conceded little layup. Are you kidding me?
Bro, do y'all see how happy this man is? He is hopping up out of his seat with excitement. Bro, I thought I was a real hater, but Skip is different. There's never been somebody more happy about another man's failure than Skip Bayless. But because of how good the Miami Heat were, Skip never really shut down the idea of LeBron getting a championship. Instead, he continued to say that it would be because of Dwayne Wade, not himself.
I want to know what you're going to say, though.
When he wins?
Yes.
I'll say he should thank Dwayne Wade.
He'll kiss the ring.
Seriously. Dwayne Wade's still the best player in basketball, and I salute it.
What?
And I applaud it.
The best player in what?
Yes, he is, in basketball. And I applauded LeBron James.
NBA 2K, maybe.
Look, LeBron
I heard of a guy named Kevin Durant.
Okay, I love Kevin Durant.
I heard a guy named LeBron James.
Right now, Kevin Durant is better than LeBron James.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit that Wade, without a doubt, had the better NBA Finals series in 2011. It's not close, but that shouldn't be enough to say he's the team's best player. LeBron just had a series where he disappeared. It is what it is. And obviously, he also said that he would take Durant over James, which brings me to Skip's next egregious take.
Let's talk about the NBA. You talked earlier, you didn't agree about LeBron. I want you to give me your top 5 now of that top 500 players in the NBA.
Take it away, Skip Bayless.
Okay, number 1, I'm sticking with it even though he let me down in the NBA Finals. Dwayne Wade. Agree, disagree?
Agreed.
Thank you. Number 2, and I thought long and hard about this, but because he yet has no rings.
And this might be a video focused on Skip, but I'm not letting your ass off the hook, Stephen A.
Now, I agree with you with Dwayne Wade at number 1. Are you taking notes? You need to write this down. You need to
apparently,
it's written down for him.
Apparently, I talked you into number 1.
The 2012 NBA season would be one of LeBron's best. He was beginning to really solidify himself as the best player in the league, and his name was at the top of the MVP race.
I am shocked you could make any kind of case for this man being MVP. He disqualified himself from ever winning another MVP when he joined forces with D. Wade and Bosh. Case in point as to why LeBron James should not even be in the MVP discussion right now.
Ah man, it's shocking that a case could be made. My brother in Christ, he's averaging 28, 8, and 7 while clearly separating himself as the team's best player. What are you cooking, man? Around this time, another big headline was that LeBron could already be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Skip's argument was in the gutter.
I think that Tiago Splitter is already a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Basketball Hall of Fame because everybody gets in. I think Carissa's going to get in due time. Stephen A. Smith will get in due time. Maybe. That's a big maybe. But I can't respect the criteria for getting into the Basketball Hall of Fame the way I can the Baseball and the Football Hall of Fame. So if I'm judging by those standards, the baseball and football standards, there is no way that LeBron James is already a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You're making no sense.
Okay,
and you're reaching.
Let me finish.
You're reaching.
Okay, let me finish. 5 and 6.
In game 5.
Okay, but both of them.
Game 5.
Both of them.
Now,
5 and 6.
He must had a triple-double in game 6.
Okay, but he was
game
still,
5
it was still not
game.
LeBron performance. That was pathetic, and you know it, and I know it, and they flamed
pathetic.
out, and he disappeared. And then,
it was pathetic.
That was not LeBron James. He should have taken that game over. Okay,
you don't make any sense. You're
now
not
let's get to just
This is some prime first take right here. Skip and Stephen A. yelling over each other is unmatched. But I find it hilarious how Skip tried so desperately to move the goalposts here. I definitely agree, the Basketball Hall of Fame has lower standards, and he is a basketball player, so that's why he's first ballot. Who cares if LeBron doesn't live up to the NFL Hall of Fame standards? Do you see this motherfucker wearing a helmet and shoulder pads? No. To end the season though, LeBron would win his 3rd MVP and made another NBA Finals appearance. I also can't forget to mention Game 6 of the conference finals that year when LeBron went ballistic with his legacy on the line. Skip couldn't talk shit then, and he certainly couldn't talk shit after LeBron won his first championship and Finals MVP against Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. By the way, that's the same Kevin Durant that Skip always said was better than LeBron James.
I think Kevin Durant is more of a complete package. He is a far better shooter than LeBron ever thought about being. I'm talking about jump shots and especially free throws. He is, as you say, a far better closer.
Well, while we're talking about it, do you have a problem with the color socks LeBron James is wearing? How about the glasses? How about the collar of his collar on his shirt? I mean, with you, anything's possible the way you're going to complain about this guy. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Kevin Durant, we all love Kevin Durant. He's a superstar. But at the same time, he does not play defense the way LeBron James does. He does not impact a game.
You know what? That's just wrong.
Yeah, I wonder if LeBron is a better defender than Kevin Durant. Yeah, well, in the 2013 NBA season, he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. This was also the 5th straight year that LeBron made the All-Defensive First Team, which is hilarious considering Kevin Durant has never made a single All-Defensive team in his entire career. But the 2013 season was arguably LeBron's best. He was almost the first unanimous MVP, but some fucking guy had to vote for Carmelo Anthony, which Skip probably paid him to do, and he would lead the Miami Heat to another NBA Finals appearance, this time against Skip's Spurs. After a legendary fourth quarter performance by LeBron with the shot by Ray Allen to cap it off, Miami forced the Game 7.
I picked the Spurs in 7 games the moment they finished off the Memphis Grizzlies in their sweep. I tweeted it immediately, Spurs in 7. And I have resolution. I have conviction. I remain completely confident in my pick that the Spurs tonight will play a similar game to Game 6. The score will stay on the same path that it took in Game 6, except this time, my Spurs will make the championship plays down the stretch that will win them their 5th ring.
But it wasn't the San Antonio Spurs who made the championship plays down the stretch, it was LeBron James. I know this man was sick. But the next season in 2014, Miami would rematch the Spurs in the finals where they would lose. And LeBron had another pending free agency decision. But before that, Skip gave one of the worst predictions in the history of sports.
I will go right down the list of teams that will forever regret passing on Johnny Manziel, who pretty soon will change football life in Cleveland, Ohio. One day, I am predicting, Johnny Manziel will become even bigger in the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was in the city of Cleveland. One day.
Not only was Johnny Manziel a terrible player in the NFL, but that free agency decision by LeBron James was to return to Cleveland. As if his prediction weren't bad enough, just with how trash Manziel is, everything else possible did go wrong for him. He says this guy is going to be bigger in Cleveland than LeBron, and 2 months later LeBron returns to Cleveland. That's actually fucking hilarious. But listen, man, his takes only get worse, people.
It says more than 1,400 registered voters, 77% of them believe that Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time, and 34% said MJ would beat LeBron James one-on-one right now at the age of 52.
You know, Stephen A.
Oh
Smith,
gosh, don't do this.
You know? He just might be able to.
Don't do
He
this.
just might be able to. So if right here, right now, Michael would stop smoking his cigars, change his diet up, if you gave him, I'm gonna say 2 months. 2 months into the off season, okay? 2 months is all I would need. I would train him actually. And I believe that on intangibles alone, we're talking about the mentally toughest superstar in the history of sport going up against, head-to-head with a man in LeBron James whose mental toughness has sometimes been a little in question in the biggest moments.
Yes, when Jordan's mental toughness motivates him to score 2 points instead of 0 in a one-on-one against LeBron James because he's an old-ass man. He is definitely trolling though. I'm more considered about the 34% of NBA fans that think a 52-year-old MJ can beat LeBron James. My God, our education system has failed us. We're cooked. But back to that Manziel prediction, it's already horrendous as it is, but you know what? Just imagine if LeBron, brought a championship to Cleveland. Skip Bayless says that that will not happen.
It's not only is it not going to happen, Golden State will win easily in the finals also. Golden State is on a mission to get revenge on not just LeBron.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection.
So make that 3 NBA championships, 3 finals MVPs, 4 MVPs, and averages of 27, 7, and 7 at this point in his career. This is the moment when people really started to recognize that he is one of the greatest players of all time, undoubtedly top 5. So what does Skip think?
I'm looking at the top 5 and I say there's no way that LeBron James belongs above. I'll just throw out 5 players to you. Michael Jordan, enough said. Magic Johnson, enough said. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, and then my man Tim Duncan, 5 rings with only 1 finals loss. And I'm going to throw this out. If we're just talking about in a vacuum, if I could start a team with either a 22-year-old LeBron James or a 22-year-old Larry Bird, I'm taking Larry Bird.
Larry Bird talk, Skip, you are finished. This won't be the last time that we hear about his terrible all-time rankings though. It gets even worse, trust me. But let's get back to that missing clutch gene narrative. I know y'all remember that one.
I sat back in front of my television and I yelled, "What are you doing, LeBron?" And I yelled so loudly that my new puppy Hazel thought I was mad at her. And for the 1,000th time, I'm going to say it again. LeBron James, as great as he is, as gifted as he is, was not born with a clutch gene.
Over the last decade, that whole he's a choker, he can't close, he's not clutch thing, that's been completely put to bed. After his 4-year run with Cleveland though, it was time for LeBron's next chapter, joining the Los Angeles Lakers. And after trading for Anthony Davis, the Lakers wanted to make one more massive move in the 2019 offseason. They were trying to sign Kawhi Leonard, who wanted to play for his hometown in Los Angeles. But he would end up signing with the Clippers instead as they traded for Paul George, and Skip was loving this.
Number 2 dropped a stealth bomb that changed NBA history in my estimation because it effectively ended LeBron's championship possibilities. LeBron James is not going to win another championship without number 2.
Skip continued to stand on this as well as he made bets with Shannon. He was so sure that there was no way LeBron could win an NBA championship after Kawhi joined the Clippers.
Lakers will win the title next year.
Really?
I want 50 cases of due on it right now.
Okay,
50
done.
cases.
Done.
50 cases.
50, I'm writing it down.
I just
50.
accepted 50 cases on the Lakers winning the title.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
If, in fact, your man LeBron is able to carry these Lakers to a title, to the championship, to the chip, at age 35, I will come out here not only in a 23 Laker jersey, but I'll get me a, what did he call it, a fake little wig.
This is even funnier when you think about how much he gassed up the difficulty of LeBron winning a championship in 2020. Just the idea of it, man, it would be so hard for him to do it. He's not gonna do it. He has to carry the Lakers, he's 35 years old, and what do you know, LeBron goes out here and does it. Skip was gassing up the difficulty, and LeBron did it. That's sad, man, because he legitimately believed that LeBron was not gonna pull this off. By the way, carrying the Lakers, come on, man, he didn't carry. That was a pretty poor narrative on Skip's part, which honestly at this point, are we even surprised? By the way, all those things that Skip said he was gonna do, you know, all these bets and everything, he never did any of this. However, what he did do was put together one of the worst top 10 all-time lists ever created.
LeBron James is not better than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, whom I have number 1. I'm sorry, he's not better than Magic at 2, or Shaq at 3, or Kareem at 4, or Tim Duncan at 5. LeBron's just not better than Bill Russell, or Kobe, or Larry Bird. I have Larry Bird at 8.
4-time champion, 4-time finals MVP, 4-time MVP, 18-time All-Star, 18-time All-NBA. Shit, he's even about to be the NBA's all-time leading scorer next season. But no sir, I will rank him below Larry Bird. LeBron James passed up Larry Bird back in like 2013, man. This dude living in the past. Matter of fact, he's not even living in the past, he's just living in a fantasy land. Skip is an unserious individual. And I think the funniest part of everything is that he continues to say, I don't hate LeBron with a straight face. I don't know how he does it, because this guy clearly hates LeBron James. But LeBron's greatness is undeniable. His legacy is solidified, and every time it was on the line since 2012, he responded. But speaking of legacies, check out this video to see how Kevin Durant has ruined his.